Hi everyone, Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. Take two. I'm redoing the video that got zapped. It just went black, so there was a communication issue between my camera and the computer, the borrowed computer, which I'm so grateful for. It's still glitchy, but it is so much better than nothing. So it'll be a couple weeks before I get my computer back. Until then, we will use what we have. So I did say some thank yous in the video that did get zapped, so I want to reiterate those. If you have been thanked, put up with another thank you. If you haven't been thanked, I apologize. It's not because I don't appreciate it. It just got lost in the cracks someplace. I don't think I missed anyone, but here's my list of thank yous. Deborah, Nancy, Bonnie, Susan, Michelle ×2. Michelle's very good. She contributes once a month, which I appreciate. Harriet, Linda, who gave a huge contribution. Thank you, Linda. It's humbling. And Lisa. And Kim, I wanted to tell you that Kim was the commission piece with the hummingbirds on it. I showed it on the Facebook page. And she loves it. She got it today and she loves it. So we're very happy about that. And Nell, who does not go by Nell on the village, ordered a ephemera packet and she got that. Oh, I don't know if she got that or not, but anyway, she paid for it. So ordered it and paid for it. So I appreciate that. So this is where I'm teaching, Once Upon a Canvas on 1st Street in Benicia, California. It's in a little mall, so you can hear some noises going on around us while we're creating this video. And is there anything else I need to tell you? It seemed like there was one more thing, but I cannot think of it. So, yada, yada, yada. You guys have all been amazing. See you on the table. So this is the project that you're working on today, or we are working on today. I had made this in a previous video, but my camera and my computer didn't talk to each other very clearly, so it went black. And so I did a remake in another book. So this was very, very fun. Scrapbook paper and images. Some fun watercolor background with the alcohol drops. Always fun. You know, that's what this is all about. I'm here for inspiration, and I'm here to have fun. And I drag you guys along with me, and I hope you have fun too. So I made some little windows in here. This one has a hand, this one has a fisheye, and this one has a hot air balloon. Stabilo, stabilo, stabilo. All right, there it is. All right, let's talk about the supplies that we're gonna need for today. I have to tell you that Patricia is sitting at my right. She's playing, so if I'm a little bit giggly or distracted, then you know why. So our supplies for today is, this is a second book that I'm working on. Isn't that gorgeous? It is sewn in and the pages are delicious. It's a little on the fragile side, but we'll deal with that as we go forward. I have some colorful underpants. I will need some book text underpants as well. I have some magazines that I'm going to go through. We'll talk about that in a minute. You'll need some scrapbook paper, your Mod Podge gesso, watercolor paper, watercolor paints, your brush, and a gift card or a credit card that you use for smudging things around, okay? The scrapbook paper is going to be used to create the houses. And then what I'm going to do is go through these magazines and find things that I want to put in the windows or in the doors or things like that in the houses. So I'll just go through these and pick out some fun images As you can see, these are pretty well torn up, but they're still fun. They still have a lot of goodies in them. So we will, like this. This is beautiful. She would be fantastic in a window. Oh, I've already cut an eye out of there. There was an eye in that hand. I cut that out. This is fun, black and white. I don't know if I'm going to use that or not. So anyway, that's what we're going to do there. So what we're going to do first is bring our book back in and create a nice, healthy 2-page spread in the book. Being as it's a new book, I need to find the center of the signatures and remove. Look at those images. Aren't those gorgeous? These pages are beautiful. All right, I'm just going to take a couple of these out. I do tend to start in the middle and then work my way out, but whatever works for you, of course. They can't see you, Patricia. All right, so I'm going to glue this to here and this to here and see if that makes it strong enough for a healthy beginning in this book. Okay, I'm just going to grab Mod Podge. I did order a new blue brush this morning from Amazon. They're still on sale. So that will be here in a couple of days. So I'm borrowing a brush. So you know you've done this before. We'll walk through this page together, and then you will play. All right, I was going to do 2, but clearly I need 3, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue 3 together there. All right, so I have 3 pages glued together on this side, and now do the same on this side. All right, I have my 2-page spread ready. It is a fragile book, so we're going to see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and cover the outer part of the page. This I'll cover with underpants. This I'll just do the outer part, because this book is pretty yummy with the yellow pages. Yellow pages? Let your fingers do the walking. Okay. Kind of hate to cover her, but she just landed in the wrong spot. All right, so take your time. Cover your 2-page spread with your book text underpants, and then we'll come back and visit. All right, I've got the yummy underpants down. Now I'm going to bring in the colorful underpants, and I'm just going to put them down here and there, no particular order, and I'm just looking for some color. A few of these have words on them. I'm okay with that. It's not my intention to have words, but I'm okay. So we are in a store. This is where I teach classes now. It's a little shop called Once Upon a Canvas, and it's in a little mall in Benicia, California. So you'll hear people walking by and chatting. And sometimes they even come into the shop. All right, so I've got some colorful underpants on this side. I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. So I put some colorful underpants down on the book. Looks pretty good already. I'm going to bring in the gift card and my gesso. So what I'm going to do, and the Mod Podge does not have to be dry before I start this process. In fact, sometimes the gesso and the moist Mod Podge will form some cracks, which is really fun. So I'm just going to dig into my gesso and get some gesso on my gift card, and I'm just going to pull it down over the colorful underpants. And I'm going to do that to both sides. All right, I have the 2-page spread covered with the gesso, and I'm just going to let this dry. There's a fan on the ceiling, so it won't take long. All right, my gesso is dry to the touch. And remember, I had the Mod Podge underneath, which was still damp, so you can see where it's cracked. And the Mod Podge works very, very well for sealing this page prior to the watercolor, so that the watercolor will sit more on top of the gesso than sink into the pages. I'm going to play with 3 watercolors today. Normally I would say 2, but I've done this once before when the computer ate the video. And I'm going to play with 3 colors today, and I've chosen a very bright orange and ochre and blue. And that's what I'm going to play with today. And I'm actually going to go over my pages with a little bit of water first. I want a wet on wet technique on these on the sky, and I have my alcohol with the dripper at the ready, so that is ready to play with as soon as I get the watercolor on there. Okay. So you know I like the watercolor intense, the color's intense and juicy, so we will add some water to that. This is the ochre. Oh, we need to dig deeper than that. Thank you very much. Can we get it a little bit more intense than that? And I'm going to go right to the blue. Put that blue down in here. Oh yeah, we're good. It's nice and deep. And remember, it is the water that the alcohol reacts to. All right, so we want a fair amount of water in there. All right, let's see what happens. Lots of noise going on in the background. It's way more visible on the dark than it is on that orange. Must not have had enough water in on that orange. That's all right. I'm okay with that. That's our sunset, right? There we go. So just have fun with that alcohol. Get some drips in there. You're working on the background. So just play with it. A lot of the lower color is going to be covered with the houses, but it's still fun to play. Sorry that that didn't react better, but it didn't. So we're going to let it dry. So of course I have to play with that sunset a little bit. I'm just bringing some ochre into that orange. See if I can get some action there. There we go. Just didn't have enough water. Isn't that fun? All right. Let it dry. All right, this is mostly dry, but I'm gonna set it aside and start working with the houses. So I'll set this aside, and I'll pull the scrapbook papers back in and decide which ones I want to use for the houses and for the roofs. I like to use about 4 or 5 different ones and then just kind of pass them back and forth. A roof here, house here, roof here, house here out of the same print. So we will go through that together. Some of these I don't want for the house, definitely. Yeah, this I do, this I do. I thought this might be kind of fun with these little events on the side. So let's cut some of those out. And I'm just going to cut them down to a workable size. This is not necessarily the size that we're going to have on the 2 book pages, but it'll make it a little bit more reasonable of a size to work on here. I like these bottles. These are fun. And they have numbers on them, which is really fun. I really like that. I like this polka dot one too. Give myself some choices here. I love this. Can we use that for a house? We're doing it. It's a bee house. And yeah, maybe. I think that's enough choices for now. Oh, this is for later. All right. So let's just have some fun cutting these into some rectangles and triangles. Super straight as always. Let's bring that book in and see what height it can handle. We don't want it so tall that we don't see any of the background. That is not fun. But we want it tall enough so that you can tell that they're houses. Okay. I like 3s or 5s. I like odd numbers for my art pieces. But this really can handle 4. Not much more than that. We'll see how 4 looks. All right, I'm thinking maybe something like that. Then I'll play with the roofs a little bit. I like to use these B's. By the time I cut out a triangle, I lose the B. Oh, that's good. That is good. I don't like that so much. We're all scavengers around here. You put something down, somebody else picks it up immediately. This is fun. I'm going to cut that at kind of a large angle. Let's see if we can get some fun stuff going on there. Well, I need another house. That's all there is to that. Are we going to go with the bee house? Perhaps. Dragging you along on the process, that's for sure. All right, we need one more rooftop. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3. What's not represented? This is this. That's that. This is this. Aha. That gives us something to start with, okay? I think that this just needs to be a triangle. We've got a lot of other stuff going on there. Taller triangle. All right. It's a good beginning. So I have these in place pretty much where I want them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue them together as buildings. So carefully take these apart. Oh, This is fun. I wonder what we'll do with that. And a bit of glue on the back. And of course, since I've removed them, they will not be precisely where they were before, but I'm okay with that. As long as we get them someplace that's fun, right? So just take a moment and glue your buildings together. All right, so I have them placed somewhat where I would like them. I've used up some of the Scrippy scraps and just kind of glued them back onto the houses, which is kind of a fun little challenge. So what I'm going to do now is just pretty much mark these where I want them cut, for as tall as I want them. Use that as a guide. Then I'll just cut them off. All right, I have my houses to the height that I would like them. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come in and cut some windows and some doors in these. I borrowed Patricia's ruler here, so I'm just going to cut a few holes on my handy dandy cutting board. Thank you so much. Not being too particular about the size. Love for them to be straight, but yeah, that's not going to happen. Cut, don't tear, cut, don't tear. So on some of these, the windows can open and close or just stay open. The doors could open and close or just stay open. Just have some fun with it. Maybe if you have a little brad, that would be fun to put a brad there on the door. So just go through your buildings, however many you have. Just cut some fun holes in them. All right, so let's take a peek at these houses. I took the challenge, and as I was making little gibbles and bits, I just put them back on the houses, just to embellish the houses or the buildings. This little door opens. I have a window someplace that opens like this. All right, so I'm feeling like the buildings are pretty complete. I made windows in here for the honeycomb. Window here, door here, and as I cut things out, I just glued them back on, which was kind of fun. So I'm going to set these aside, and what I'm going to do now is bring back in those magazines and start leafing through the magazines and seeing if I can find some small things for inside the windows. All right, you guys know the process here. So she's fun. She would be fun in a window. We kind of talked about her before. And then we'll just walk through this poor torn up magazine and see if we can find anything else that's... Oh, look at her. She's very fun. Let's just remove her. We may use her. We may not use her. Oh, yeah, we're going to use her. Look at her. Oh boy, lots of choices. So just go through a magazine and start to, you may or may not use all the pieces that you remove, but it'll be a good starting place. Okay, so I have some images torn out. I'm actually all over the map. So here's a face, and here's a hand. Here's a hot air balloon, kind of fun. Gorgeous face. Itty bitty tiny face. That little gal with the flower. Kind of an eerie face there. Some numbers. Numbers are always fun on the house. This is fun. So if I take this and I start to play with how that would look in the window, it gives me an idea. The hot air balloon is kind of fun in a window. The bird. I picked something else out for the door, but even the bird is kind of fun like that, kind of peeking in. So just play with your images. Oh, this is what I had chosen. Isn't that fun? Have her eye like that in there. That's fun. Maybe that like that. So just play around with your windows and see what looks good to you. Be playful. Look at that. And I'm going to cut some of these out and commit to gluing them down. So the one that I do know where I want it is I do want that eye in that door. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some Mod Podge on that door area. I don't want it stuck on the door, so I'll just be careful to put it around the door. She's going to hang over the bottom. That's okay. I'll cut that off later. I want to put that down. Place that where I want that. Then I can trim off the excess later. So let's just continue on with this, shall we? See, that's going to be fun in a window too. Not where I want her. This is the same style. Black and white. I think we're just going to go ahead and commit to that. Oh, just ripped her little face. There again, we'll just trim off that excess later. All right, keep playing with your doors and your windows. So I have most of the images glued in. And what I would do is I would just glue them in and then go back in with my scissors and trim the house. So we are going to go through those images together that have been placed in the windows and in the doors. This is the part that takes the longest. Finding the images, gluing them in, playing with your houses, playing house. It's fun. It's the fun part, but it takes a minute. All right, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Oh, we can. All right, so this house was the beehive. Little girl's face, well, a woman's face here, bird here, And then this is a fish head here. All right, so a girl's head here, and then the pointing hand here, and then, oh, this needs to be trimmed some more. See that extra? This is a girl holding the flower. This is a girl's face, and a hot air balloon in the door, and a girl's face, and a woman's face. So that's what has happened there. Where's that girl? Trim that a little bit tighter. I'm going to bring my book back in, take a little peek at that. Patricia's getting ready to go. So I don't know how I'll place these yet, but this is the basic idea behind the houses. Isn't that fun? All right. Okay, I believe this is how we are going to position the houses. Remember, we have watercolor behind here, so we'll be putting our Mod Podge on the house and then putting the house down, or the building. They're not really houses, but they are buildings. So I'll just put Mod Podge on the back. Place it down approximately where I had it before. Take my paper towel, push that down firmly. And I'm going to glue this one down here, and this one down here, and that one down there. Or at least that is my intention. I have one more building to put on. Sometimes the scrapbooking paper is a little bit resistant to the Mod Podge. If you're using a real stiff paper, you might want to grab your tacky glue. This is going to work just fine now with the Mod Podge on here. But I am going to put it under my bum. I still can. This is a brand new book. I keep having brand new books. What's up with that? Well, the other book I did this in. This is it in here. And then this is it in this book. So I just have two books going, that's all. It's not as crazy as it sounds, or is it? So I'm going to stick this under my bum, make sure everything's sticking down nice, and then I'm going to bring my Stabilo in and play with my Stabilo. Okay, I'm going to go in and add some dimension with the Stabilo. You know, I just got, I don't know how many of you pay attention to the comments that I get on YouTube, but I just got a comment from someone that got a new black lab puppy, and they named him what? Stabilo. Isn't that awesome? I think that's awesome. I said I want to smudge his nose. I didn't say I wanted to spit and smudge on his nose, but I did say I wanted to smudge his nose. So, very fun. You guys are just so incredible. So Patricia's gone home. It's just me in the shop right now. Me and you on the table. So I'm going to go through all the buildings and all the edges of the pages, bring those buildings back out into beautiful existence. And any add-ons that I put on the buildings, I will stabilo them like this little corner right here. This was an add-on. So I'm gonna bring that forward too. The doors. The windows. I'm going for all of it. So take your time, play with your stabilo. If you haven't gotten a stabilo yet, you will. You will. It's just a matter of time. All right, there's a couple more places. This is a window that opens. And so this one, I want to go ahead and stabilo around. There's just a couple places to stabilo. I guess just on this building, really. Thank goodness for stabilo. Oh, now I can see the door. So I'm just going to take my X-Acto, poke a couple holes in these, and put a little door handle, window handle on them. That'll be fun. So I poked a hole in here, and put a brad there. I'm going to poke a hole here, pick out something fun. I have a little butterfly here. Put that here. These are tiny little pokey things, so the hole doesn't need to be too big. Going with the numbers. Perfecto. Had some, hubby just brought me some lunch, some yogurt and granola and fresh fruit. Happy camper. Okay, so what's next? If I can find my white paint pen. All right, let's add just a few white dots, shall we? That's always fun. So fun. Our quiet time is not so quiet today. Lots of stuff going on in this little mall. Good for business. All right, well, if I can stop myself. What a fun little village. All right, I'm going to stop. Go play. Go create. Go have fun.